Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm AstroKara. In today's video, I'm going to share my thoughts on Pluto in Aquarius and its evolutionary opportunity. I'm recording this mid-October 2025 as Pluto has recently stationed direct and is bringing this into greater focus. And while this station, meaning leaving retrograde and moving forward again, is in focus this week, I want to offer a couple reminders. First, Pluto through Aquarius will be a long transit. This will be taking us through the next couple decades. And it is a call for deep personal and collective change over time. And second, Pluto goes retrograde once a year, and it spends almost half the year in that period. This is giving us time to integrate what we experience during the more active, direct periods. Okay, now for the good stuff. If you've been following me for a while, then you already know this. But if you're new, I will tell you that I love allegories and metaphors. And I especially love using them to connect us to and help us understand the astrological archetypes of evolutionary astrology. So here we go. In 1945, C.S. Lewis gave us the classic, The Great Divorce. This novel takes us on a dreamlike journey, a fantastical bus ride from a gray, endless city to a bright and beautiful, solid land. Greytown is a place of ghosts, where the souls are weightless, insubstantial, because they've forgotten what's real. They live in their minds, building and rebuilding houses of thought, each one further apart and further isolated in their certainty. And while most commentaries explain that Lewis's gray town and solid land are meant to represent hell and heaven, I want to discuss this not as a story about heaven and hell as places, but as states of consciousness. Because this too is the story of Pluto in Aquarius, the soul's long and necessary journey moving from collective shared ideals toward individuation. In evolutionary astrology, Pluto symbolizes the soul's deepest desire. It's what we are unconsciously drawn toward, experience after experience, in our search for wholeness and unity. And with Pluto traveling through Aquarius, the archetype of the collective mind, it brings us face to face with the invisible web of conditioning that defines our reality. Lewis's gray town represents the consensus world, a world where truth is defined by the majority, where the soul's light is filtered through ideology, and where belonging is traded for authenticity. And we've all lived there. We've all built homes out of other people's thoughts. And we've all mistaken comfort for belonging. But Pluto in Aquarius is drawing us to a universal truth. You are not your conditioning. It asks us to leave the gray town, to step on the bus, and begin the journey of individuation. In The Great Divorce, the bus ride from gray city to solid land isn't just a change of scenery. It's a crossing between worlds, between illusion and truth, between the conditioned mind and an awakened soul. The passengers are all offered the same invitation: to see themselves clearly, to release their attachments, and to surrender the small self that insists on being right. Most cannot. They turn back, preferring the comfort of familiar shadows to the blinding light of truth. And this is the threshold we meet under Pluto and Aquarius. The moment we realize awakening is not about transcending the world, but all about transforming our relationship to it. And to do so requires death: the death of the known self, the death of consensus validation, and even the death of mental certainty. Individuation is the evolutionary intention of Aquarius. It is the soul's journey to liberate itself from collective conditioning, to think, to live, and to love according to inner truth rather than social law. This liberation often begins as alienation. We awaken to find what once made sense no longer does. We feel the ache of separation from the familiar. The gray town fades behind us, and we float in the in-between, a liminal space, no longer of the old world and not yet embodied in the new. This alienation is sacred. It is the soul's initiation into freedom. Because it's only when we no longer fit into the collective's dream that we begin to remember the song of our own soul. In Lewis's story, heaven and hell aren't destinations. They are frequencies. The gray town is the vibration of fear, pride, and self-justification. Heaven is the frequency of truth, humility, and love. It's the solid land that is so real, so alive, that the ghosts of Greytown cannot even walk upon it until they surrender their illusions. And this is Pluto's work: to strip away all that is false, so that only essence remains. In Aquarius, this purification is happening through the mind, through deconditioning, revelation, and awakening. But we cannot exclude its polarity, Leo. And Leo reminds us that liberation cannot happen through intellect alone. We must descend into our hearts. Otherwise, freedom becomes detachment, and rebellion becomes exile. Pluto in Aquarius begins with rebellion, a refusal to conform, a breaking away from systems, doctrines, and the collective trance. This rebellion is necessary, but it is not the end. Rebellion still defines itself in opposition to what it resists. Revelation transcends opposition altogether. It recognizes that true freedom is not found by rejecting the collective, but by awakening within it. This is the deeper invitation of the Great Divorce and of Pluto in Aquarius: to become so real, so aligned with truth, that your very presence becomes a mirror for others to remember themselves. As we awaken through Aquarius, we come home through Leo. The individuation process is not completed in isolation. It includes creative self-expression, with the courage to shine from the heart and to live your truth not as defiance, but as devotion. Lewis's solid beings, those who can walk the hills of heaven, are not the ones who know the most, but those who love the most. Their strength is their humility, their clarity, and their radiant joy. This is evolved Aquarius, the awakened human, who is both free and connected, unique yet united, and radiant yet rooted in love. So as Pluto continues to move through Aquarius, we are each boarding the bus, and we are each being asked to choose. Will we stay in the gray town of consensus thought? Or will we step into the solid light of truth? This journey is not about leaving the world, but seeing it as it really is. And it's not just about intellect alone, but with integrity and coherence. The alignment of the mind and heart in service to your soul. And when we walk as solid beings in the world, when we no longer seek validation from the collective mind, but embody truth through love, we become vessels for heaven on earth. This is the true great divorce, the separation from the illusion and reunion to the divine within. May you have the courage to leave Greytown. May you remember the truth of your own light. And may your liberation serve the awakening of us all. Whether you find yourself at the threshold of awakening or in the process of embodying the new paradigm and are looking for guidance along your journey, please reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation to see how I might support you. You can find me at AstroKara.com. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care of you.